is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Right now at 6 on Good Morning Indiana.
Should we need to take further steps, we will.
Governor Holcomb announcing a series of new measures to combat the spread of COVID-19 in Indiana. We're breaking down what you need to know.
If you are a bartender or you work at a local store and you need money to pay your bills, we understand that, and we have seniors who need your help.
A local company is looking to hire Hoosiers that may be laid off due to the coronavirus. Details on the high-demand job and qualifications you need to have.
We've seen an increase of about $400,000 a week in additional food costs.
Gleaner's Food Bank is struggling to keep up as demand for its services grows. Working for you, we're looking at what's being done to help both the organization and the people they serve.
I cried, they cried, there was a lot of tears in there, just knowing this group doesn't get to do it together anymore.
And March Madness was supposed to be well underway this morning. Our Dave first checks in with the Butler Bulldogs as they reflect on their successful season and what could have been.
6 o'clock here on your Friday morning. Thanks so much for joining us on Good Morning Indiana.
We do want to talk about the forecast as we start our Friday. Todd, not a whole lot going on this weekend, but maybe folks want to get out for a walk. Can they do that this morning?
This morning it's nice and mild. Some of you still dealing with a few isolated downpours, and some of you dealing with some flooding concerns. So just be very careful if you do go out and walk, especially in the areas you see in red. This is where we still have flash flood warnings that are posted. It includes Martinsville, Bloomington, Nashville, Shelbyville, Rushville, and Connorsville. The green to you south, those are just general flood warnings. This is the area where we saw 2 to 4 inches of rain in a very short period of time. So obviously, being counter-flooded waterways, do not try to go through those, and streets as well. You have no idea how deep that water is. Now, we won't see any additional flooding, even though we have a few heavy downpours here and there across parts of the area. These are moving through very, very quick. Moving through Muncie right now, getting ready to push into Portland, Winchester, you're up next, and then to the south. Again, it's a straight downpour, and that is just about it. And we'll continue to have some scattered showers in the forecast until this cold front can work its way through. Notice the snow back off to our west. We won't see that, but the cold front will bring in much colder air. We are in the 60s and 70s right now, so this is the warmest part of the day. If it's not raining and you want to get out and walk, you certainly can do so in your neighborhood, because by the time we get to the afternoon hours, we'll be in the 50s, and then eventually the 40s by the time we get to 4 p.m. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic right now. If you're heading out to work this morning, this is a look over on the west side. I-465 near Rockville Road. Traffic is picking up, traveling up to speed both northbound and southbound. Again, watch for areas of high water. The one trouble spot we're monitoring is on I-74 westbound for drivers heading in towards Indianapolis from Greensburg. Use caution and avoid that right lane.
Now to the latest on the coronavirus outbreak. Indiana health officials are reporting 17 new cases of COVID-19. The total now stands at 56, with 19 of those being from Marion County. 2 Hoosiers have died. In Hancock County, a Greenfield intermediate school teacher has also tested positive for the virus. Governor Eric Holcomb is taking additional steps to stop the spread by extending the state of emergency into May. He also ordered that all Indiana K-12 schools will remain closed until at least May 1st. That includes non-public schools. Holcomb says the date may extend through the end of the school year if need be. All state-mandated tests have also been canceled.
If, by some miracle, we get students back this year, we'll use that time in class for instruction, not cramming for tests.
Holcomb also said some filing and payment deadlines for tax season would be extended for 60 days because of the virus, and that he would support postponing the primary election on May 5th.
As we head into our first weekend with all those new restrictions in place, Governor Holcomb is reminding Hoosiers why it's so important to continue social distancing at this time. Our Alyssa Donovan is joining us live outside the State House this morning with more on the message from our governor. Alyssa, good morning.
Good morning, Lauren. And it's been a difficult week as people adjust to this new way of life in Indiana and really across the country. The governor highlighting in his press conference yesterday some important changes and resources for Hoosiers, also reiterating why these changes are so necessary right now. Now, many people have had the distraction of working, albeit from home this week, and now we're heading into the first weekend where all of these restrictions are really in place. Closures of restaurants, bars, malls, movie theaters, and other public gathering spaces. Now, during yesterday's press conference, the governor announced the approval of disaster relief low-interest loans for small businesses in Indiana, but he's still encouraging people to patron places that are trying to make ends meet while adjusting to the new normal. Now, many local restaurants have switched over to carry-out options, some providing take-and-bake meals, home baking kits, drive-through options, and some bars also offering to-go cocktails during this time. The governor reminding people that social distancing and washing our hands remains the best way that we as citizens can continue to combat this pandemic.
Because there is no greater civil liberty than the liberty to not being infected by irresponsible actions and behaviors of others who would dangerously impact the health and safety of our fellow citizens.
And the main concern remains those most vulnerable in the population. However, the CDC did release some numbers late last night, and those show that 29% of U.S. cases are among the 20 to 44-year-old age group. Now, 20% of those are hospitalizations in that age group, and 12% are hospital ICU cases in that age group. So that is an important reminder that really no one is immune to this virus, and we all need to continue to practice that social distancing as we head into the weekend. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. More central Indiana counties are going even further with efforts to contain this virus. Starting today up in Madison County, all businesses and retail stores that do not sell food or home supplies are being ordered to close through April 6th. There are many exemptions, including healthcare facilities, gas stations, and auto repair shops. Funerals will be limited to 10 people, and a travel watch will be in effect, meaning only essential travel is advised. In Delaware County and up in Muncie, they're declaring a joint emergency. It orders all barber shops, salons, tattoo parlors, gyms, indoor play areas, private clubs, and fraternal organizations to close. City and county offices are included. Ball State announced their recreational and sports facilities are closed until further notice.
While schools are closed, Indianapolis Public Schools is partnering with Gleaners Food Bank to help feed more students and families in need. Starting today, IPS buses will pick up and deliver Gleaners meal packages to 25 schools throughout the city. They will be given out on Fridays and Mondays from 4 to 6 p.m. Families will receive one 17-pound box of non-perishable food items. IPS says they're also continuing to distribute their prepackaged meals through the district's spring break next week. You can find a list of the pickup locations on our website, theindychannel.com.
Gleaners is also working to feed people who may have lost their jobs or income due to the coronavirus pandemic. They say the demand for food has grown by 2 or 3 times over the last week. The nonprofit says they may have trouble keeping up as the costs skyrocket.
We've seen an increase of about $400,000 a week in additional food costs. The price of the food that we buy is going up as Gleaners and other food banks compete with for-profit retailers who are going to the same food companies and wholesalers we are. They're trying to replenish their stores. We're trying to replenish the inventory here at the warehouse and keep up.
Gleaners supplies items to hunger relief agencies and schools throughout 21 counties in central and southeast Indiana.
RTV6 has been working for more than a year to connect you and your family with job opportunities and career resources. And that effort continues as coronavirus closures have a ripple effect on multiple industries. Senior One Care in Carmel is always looking to hire. The director of recruitment says the need is even greater now with orders to stay home to help stop the spread of COVID-19. And with many people losing their jobs due to the mass closures, the company is making an extra effort to let people know they have some openings.
When we started seeing local restaurants, retailers, bars, hotels having to close their doors, it broke our hearts, really. And it just inspired me to hop online and just put it out there. If you are a bartender or you work at a local store and you need money to pay your bills, we understand that. And we have seniors who need your help.
Caregivers with Senior One Care start off at $13 an hour. You can find out more information about those positions and other job opportunities at hiringhoosiers.com.
No more packed arenas, no more trip, no more tourney. Coming up, our day first checks in with the Butler Bulldogs head coach as they reflect on their successful season that was cut short.
And they may only play medical professionals on TV, but the supplies they use are real. We'll tell you how your favorite medical dramas are helping real doctors treating COVID-19 patients. Todd.
As we walk through the door this morning and outside, you're walking out to mild temperatures. That's the good news. The rain has come to an end. Unfortunately, you can't get used to the mild temperatures because a cold front is heading our way. And once that cold front comes through by mid-morning, temperatures will be a lot different later on this afternoon. We'll talk all about that and look ahead to your weekend as well. Coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 6:10.
Force your hope. That too.
Sad news out of Italy this morning. Officials say the country now has more deaths from the novel coronavirus than China. Thursday, Italy recorded more than 3,400 deaths. That tops China, which currently has just more than 3,200, according to the World Health Organization. Italian officials reported a jump of more than 5,000 new cases of COVID-19 in just one day, bringing the country's total to 41,000. The State Department has issued a level 4 advisory for all international travel. That is the highest possible level. U.S. citizens are being advised to avoid all overseas travel due to the global impact of COVID-19. The State Department is also asking Americans abroad to arrange for immediate return home. The advisory warns Americans who are outside of the country they need to be prepared to stay there for an indefinite period. One of the reasons for the heightened advisory is that U.S. embassies are less able to help Americans overseas. There is also concern about hospital capacity internationally.
Prince Harry's Invictus Games have been postponed. The Duke of Sussex created the games back in 2014, inspired by Warrior Games in the U.S. Harry made the announcement on YouTube Thursday. The adaptive sports event features wounded and injured armed service personnel. They compete in events like wheelchair basketball, sitting volleyball, and indoor rowing. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have been planning to attend until the coronavirus outbreak. The games were scheduled to be held in the Netherlands in May. Organizers are hoping to be able to reschedule those games to May or June 2021.
The big dance should be underway, but instead college basketball teams across the country are benched. The NCAA canceled the annual tournament last week, leaving so many successful schools wondering how the tourney might have played out. And that includes Butler. Our TV6 sports director Dave First on the Dogs' March sadness.
No more packed arenas, no more trip, no more tourney. What a strange week for the Butler Bulldogs.
Can you believe here we are, March Madness was supposed to start and everyone's sitting at home?
If you rewind the tape to last Thursday, Wednesday and Thursday, it was obviously a shock to the sports world.
For Butler, they were at the team hotel getting ready for their Big East tourney game against Providence when they watched, like the rest of us, Creighton and St. John's reach halftime when Big East Commissioner Val Ackerman pulled the plug on the tournament. And then around 5:30, a team meeting to hear the NCAA did the same to its own tournament. Regardless of how optimistic any team would be, it's an abrupt end to the season for everyone.
I mean, at least you would play a game or two. Heck, the season is just over like that, man.
No question. This was certainly unique just because no one even had the opportunity to go out and lose, to lose. But there was a lot of tears shed at when we had that 5:30 meeting. It was, I cried, they cried. There was a lot of tears in there just knowing this group doesn't get to do it together anymore.
That includes the end of college careers for Sean McDermott, first-team All-Big East guard Kamar Baldwin, along with the outgoing Henry Badley and Derek Smits.
I think they have a ton of self-satisfaction in knowing every time they got to be together, they were for each other. We enjoyed the heck out of the ride.
A ride that saw the Dogs climb as high as a school record 6th in the Associated Press poll. 22 wins all told, most in a couple of years. Sadly, nothing but handshakes, pats on the back, and what-ifs now.
If they feel satisfied in all this, I mean, you did a great job as a father figure and a coach and a mentor, because this is as trying as it gets, I think, in college basketball, man.
No question. There's a hole. It's like, what could we have done? There's you think of so many teams across the country, so many players across the country, coaching staffs. Everybody has that. Man, what could we have done had it all played out? No one knows the answer to that. There's perspective in there, although it's difficult.
At least the Butler seniors leave with a few NCAA tournament games under their belts. Many of those other players have yet to play in a tournament game. They hope next year they'll have that chance. We want to take a turn now and check in on the weather with meteorologist Todd Clausen. What's going on there behind you?
Kind of looks like Christmas here with all the different colors, but they represent flood warnings and flash flood warnings across the area. The biggest concern and is the red here. That's the flash flood warnings. That's the most dangerous. That means flooding is occurring right now, and we've had rainfall totals in this area of 2 to 4 inches over the course of the last 12 hours. The green is general flood warnings. That means you have standing water in fields. It could impact roadways. But again, the flash flooding is the immediate concern. That means waters are quickly rising, although they should start to crest here pretty quickly. But here are some of those rainfall totals in that band of heavy rainfall. There was several bands of rain that went through, anywhere from 2 to 4 inches, Bloomington, Nashville to Edinburgh, over to just south of the Rushville area. Get on either side of that band, still significant rainfall in just 12 hours with about 1.5 inches. Here's what's left of the rain. This is the good news. This is why the flooding situation should start to get better over the course of the next few hours. We're left with just a couple downpours here and there, but these are all moving through very quickly. They're not going to linger, so they're not going to cause any additional flooding. But in and around the farmland area here, Winchester, some heavier downpours. And honestly, that's really just about it as of right now. However, we still have to wait for the cold front to come through, and the cold front is off to our west, making its way through the Chicago area right now. As this front comes through, I do think there'll be a couple more spotty showers that flare up and maybe a quick little burst of rain as the actual front slides through your area. And you can see that thin band of rain showing up on TrueCast, pushes through the metro area, generally right around 11 o'clock this morning. But soon as this front goes through, our temperatures will really start to drop off very, very quickly across the area. It's great right now, anywhere from 65 to 70 degrees, but look at the colder air that is just off to our west. Mid-40s in Chicago, 31 in Des Moines, single digits as you work your way up towards Bismarck. We won't get that real cold Arctic air, but it will turn much colder across the area throughout the day. We'll be in the mid-60s this morning, should be dropping into the 50s early in the afternoon, and then this evening temperatures will be in the 40s. Once the front goes through, though, we're done with any threat of rainfall for the day today. And then as we work our way into the day tomorrow, your Saturday starts off very, very cold. In fact, we are below freezing with a temperature right around 28 degrees. As the day goes on, decreasing clouds, more in the way of sunshine. It's a dry day, an opportunity to dry out with a high temperature eventually into the low 40s. Sunday's a little bit warmer at 46 degrees with a mixture of sun and clouds, so the weekend's not bad. You just have to bundle up a little bit if you want to take that walk through the neighborhood. And then as we get into next week, low 50s for Monday and Tuesday, and then eventually up into the 60s as the spring-like warmth returns for Wednesday and Thursday. But with that warmth will come more showers starting on Tuesday. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here is a look right now at traffic. This is our INDOT traffic camera at I-65, a little north of 38th Street on the northwest side of town. You can see traffic here is moving along up to speed, both northbound and southbound. Watch for any areas of ponding as you're heading out on the roads this morning. We'll continue to keep you updated on any delays, but right now, no crashes to report around the Indy metro area.
They may only play doctors and firefighters on TV, but the supplies on medical dramas are definitely real, and some shows are donating them to local emergency services in need. ABC's Station 19, a show about firefighters in Seattle, donated about 300 N95 masks to help real firefighters in California during the coronavirus outbreak. And other shows are also getting in on the action. Grey's Anatomy, The Resident, and The Good Doctor all donating supplies from their sets, including gloves, gowns, and masks. Now a check at the weather with Kyle.
When it comes to preparing for storms, having as much notice as possible is important. That's why we work with the Storm Prediction Center to share outlooks, like this example highlighting the severe weather threat. We often are able to indicate the broader potential for severe weather 2 to 3 days in advance. And when we show these maps on television, it's time to review your severe weather safety plan. That outlook is divided up on a 5-point scale ranging from marginal to high risk. As the risk level increases, so does the intensity and coverage of the storms. Most of our severe weather days fall in the marginal to enhanced risk categories. Moderate and high risks are pretty rare in central Indiana.
Take 3 years to pay only at Ashley Home Store.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is 6:24 and it's time to talk about what is trending at 6. Meredith, you know what cheers me up a lot?
Christmas decorations.
Christmas decorations. You're right. So this Tennessee woman, she agrees, and she's wishing everyone a merry little quarantine. She's just one of hundreds of people across the country brightening days by putting back up their Christmas lights. The movement started on Twitter over the weekend and it's quickly spread. And hey, if you're looking for something to do, that will keep you busy.
There you go. A 12-year-old Minnesota girl was having the birthday blues until her neighborhood came together to pull off a huge surprise. A caravan of family, friends, and neighbors paraded by Emily Hendrickson's house, throwing her a surprise social distance celebration on Thursday. Emily said she felt very loved. Hey, that's one way to do it.
Very cool. It's like a parade, but the opposite.
Yeah.
Right? Very cool. Well, it's a story that we've seen more and more recently. Residents in those assisted living facilities have to be isolated or communicate with loved ones during the coronavirus. Well, one Boston man didn't let the virus or the rain stop him from serenading his girlfriend. Take a listen.
Hey, you, Mary Lou, guess who's here to sing for you? You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray like today.
Oh, well, Ed and Mary Lou met over a quarter century ago. He's been visiting her at a nursing home every day for nearly 5 years.
Oh,
that's so sweet.
That makes my heart very, very happy.
I know. That's
Todd, are you our sunshine today? Because
bring us
that
some
radar
sunshine,
does
Todd,
not
please.
look pretty right about now.
Yeah, the sunshine's been hard pressed to find here across central Indiana, although there were a few peaks of sunshine yesterday evening after we got a little bit of a break from the rain. Still some spotty showers out there right now, but they're all starting to come to an end for the most part. There's still a cold front off to our west that has to come through, and that could provide a few light scattered showers. We have flash flood warnings that are in place in southern locations. Those should start to diminish as we go throughout the day as we really get no additional heavy rainfall, but not much in the way of sunshine today. The other thing you'll notice, the temperature is really, really mild right now. By the time we get to mid-afternoon, we're into the mid-50s. By the time we get to late afternoon, temperatures will be all the way down into the 40s. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Well, with cruise lines and resorts shutting down and airlines dropping flights, many of us are now desperate to get those vouchers or refunds for our springtime travels. Consumer reporter John Matarese sat down with a travel agent to find out the best way to deal with jammed phone lines so you don't waste your money.
Thinking of calling your airline or cruise line and postponing your travel plans? Well, prepare to wait as long as 2 or 3 hours on hold. Airlines are swamped right now with calls from nervous flyers, and travel agents are now scrambling to pick up the slack. Leslie Sawhook is a travel agent who these days is more of a counselor to her clients.
So I can call Disney Cruise Line as soon as we hang up right now.
Clients are now calling nonstop, asking about postponing cruises and European vacations.
My email has been blowing up in my phone with concerned guests who are traveling this spring break and beyond.
What's the biggest question people are asking?
Some of my guests who do have, small children and are genuinely concerned are trying to have me move those to future dates.
Leslie says it's almost impossible to get a refund for a flight or cruise, even with insurance. But the good news, more airlines and cruise lines will let you reschedule for later this year.
I had to make a change this last week for Delta Airlines, and they waived their $200 penalty. I'm hearing American Airlines is doing the same.
Travel agents say just about the only people not expressing concerns about upcoming travel are those who've booked camping and driving trips this spring. And Leslie even says that she's already seeing a move back toward domestic travel for this upcoming summer.
So yeah, United States, Mexico.
It's travel agents like Leslie who are trying to give nervous travelers a little bit of comfort in this uncomfortable time.
And we can see about modifying your dates if you'd like. We all don't want to lose the business. So if that means moving things to keep everyone safe and to meet protocol, we'll do that.
One last tip, don't get mad if your airline or agent cannot give you a refund. In most cases, you'll have to be satisfied with a future travel voucher so you don't waste your money. Working for you, I'm John Matteries. Good morning, Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Friday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. At least 56 people here in Indiana have tested positive for COVID-19. The state health department will update those numbers later this morning. Governor Holcomb also extended Indiana's state of emergency and is keeping schools closed until at least May 1st. More on the pandemic's impact coming up in 2 minutes after weather.
With school still out, the Indiana Boys High School basketball state tournament has been canceled for the first time in its 110-year history. The IHSAA says it will not be able to resume games. They had hoped to play regionals last weekend. That plan was called off on Friday. Officials say they will have an update on spring sports in the near future.
Stores across the country still can't seem to keep toilet paper in stock. And that is some people getting, shall we say, creative. Sewer officials do want to remind you, though, not to flush things like napkins, paper towels, especially wipes, even if the wipes claim to be flushable. Those wipes don't break down like toilet paper does, and they can create massive rope-like jams in sewage systems. That is your friendly Friday PSA.
Flushing reminder.
Flushing reminder from Good Morning Indiana.
Yeah, I think we would like to flush this forecast away. I mean, the only thing we've got right now is getting outdoors, and unfortunately, it's not the most ideal weather to do so, Todd.
Yeah, you know, we've had a lot of rain really since Wednesday, so you just kind of pick your times to get out and about. And there will be times to get out and about this weekend. It's just going to be a lot colder by the time we get to Saturday and Sunday. Now, yesterday we had the potential for severe weather. We avoided most of that. Thankfully, it stayed just to our south, but we did get a lot of rainfall, especially here in southern locations. This entire area you see in red, that's where we have flash flood warnings. That is the most dangerous of all flooding because it's occurring right now. It's happening very quickly, and that's because we had rainfall totals of 2 to 4 inches. Now, the good news is the bulk of the heavy rainfall has moved out of the area. Some spotty downpours still here on the eastern side of the state, and that is just about it as far as the rain goes. There could be a few light spotty showers this morning as the cold front works through, but we are not going to see any additional heavy rainfall. And you will be able to get out and about this afternoon, but look what happens to the temperatures. It's great right now. We're in the mid to upper 60s. We could take that all day long. Unfortunately, mid 50s by the noon hour, and then 40s as we work our way into the afternoon. So you'll be able to get out and about, Lauren. You're just going to have to bundle up a little bit.
All right, Todd, good to know. Here is a look right now at traffic down on the south side. Our INDOT traffic camera here at I-65, a view near Edgewood Avenue. Traffic is moving along up to speed, both northbound and southbound. Watch for areas of ponding or flooding this morning as you're heading out the door for your commute.
The number of coronavirus cases in Indiana continues to increase. The 56 confirmed cases as of Thursday were an increase of 17 from the day before. Marion County has the most cases in the state, 19. 2 people, both women, have died from the virus in our state. Governor Holcomb is extending his state of emergency declaration. The governor also extended statewide school closures until at least May 1st. That also includes all private schools in Indiana. State Superintendent Jennifer McCormick says she understands that this could be tough for parents. She also had a message for students.
It's a very, very difficult time on many different levels, so I want to make sure that the families know how incredibly thankful we are. To the kids, this is my message to you. Be positive, make good choices. Stay on your work that you have at home. It's extremely important that you are a good partner in this.
The governor has also canceled all state-mandated assessments for the 2019-2020 school year, including iRead, iStep, and iLearn. With the longer school closure, Indianapolis Public Schools will add more meal service sites. Starting Monday, school leaders will open 8 additional locations serving prepackaged meals. The meals are open to all students age 18 and younger, including non-IPS students. We've got a list of those locations right now on the RTV6 app.
The Meals on Wheels mission is to always provide healthy food to our most vulnerable neighbors, like senior citizens, people who cannot leave their homes, or people living with HIV. So now during the coronavirus outbreak, break, Meals on Wheels is taking more action to protect clients and volunteers. Clients are encouraged to get a weekly supply of frozen meals delivered through UPS instead of a regular delivery driver. Many Meals on Wheels clients are most at risk to COVID-19 and heavily rely on this service.
It is not really an option for them not to get the nutritious meals that we provide for them. The meals are all medically tailored to their dietary needs.
Meals on Wheels of Central Indiana is in need of volunteers to help prepare pantry boxes that will be shipped to clients. If you're interested, you're asked to email info@mealsonwheelsindy.org. You're asked not to call because the organization needs to keep phone lines clear for clients in need.
Indiana has yet to shut down the state's daycare and child care facilities, a relief for some parents. RTV6's Cameron Riddle takes you inside one daycare that is closing its doors for now to be there for families as this crisis continues.
As the coronavirus continues to spread, hand sanitizing is the first step when you enter the Reach to Teach daycare.
Every 30 minutes, we have a timer that goes off, which indicates the adults and the students to wash our hands and also sanitize all the knobs and the railings of the fences.
And like clockwork, it's time to sterilize.
Time to wash our hands.
Keisha Davis and her staff at the Reach to Teach daycare are taking coronavirus seriously.
Just because the safety of our children, if it wasn't for our kids and our parents, we wouldn't be in business.
The daycare, located on the city's west side, stayed open a week longer than the schools in Marion County. But Davis made the call to shut down for now to provide a safer place for kids in the weeks ahead.
Tomorrow will be our last day of opening for at least a week or two, just so we can sanitize everything. We're getting new playpens, new high chairs. My crew and I, we're gonna come in, sanitize the whole daycare from up to down, and just get ready for the kids to come back in 2 weeks.
The decision to close comes as the confirmed cases of coronavirus in Indiana tops 50, and as the governor extends school closures into May. Davis is hoping the doors aren't closed for too long, as parents with school-age kids have showed their gratitude for a safe place to send them.
Our parents really appreciate us staying open for this extra week because we do have a lot of after-school kids, so they've been coming full-time, and they really appreciate that.
Working for you on the west side, Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Indiana's Family and Social Services Administration has been advising child care facilities when it comes to cleaning and sanitation. The administration facilities should stay open unless one of its kids tests positive for the coronavirus.
More restrictions nearly every day this week, and now it's finally the weekend, and it's really the first weekend we're going to experience all of these changes. So our Alyssa Donovan is joining us live this morning. Alyssa, we know the governor is reiterating the importance of everyone practicing that social distancing this weekend and not getting out in their communities during this time. Can you tell us a little bit more about what we need to know as it is Friday, finally the weekend?
That's right. Finally, the weekend after a long week, and more of those changes were implemented yesterday by the governor. However, he also reiterated how important it is to check in on friends and neighbors and families during this time while continuing to practice that social distancing. Now, this is going to be the first weekend that we're seeing really all of these restrictions in place, and the governor is recommending people call and use technology to keep in touch with those who are isolated and most vulnerable during this time. Holcomb also recommending Hoosiers that as we head into the weekend, it's a good time to try out the new carry-out services offered by local restaurants and bars, noting that these small business owners need our support, many having to lay off employees due to the dine-in closures. The restaurant business and its employees, one of many industries struggling during this pandemic.
We understand how hard all of these efforts and this response is on Hoosiers as we all collectively try to flatten the curve and slow the spread. Indeed, these are times that try our souls.
And he says that it is why it is so important to continue supporting the community in ways that we can. And many people asked during that press conference yesterday about sheltering in place, and the governor said, we are just not there yet. And then he went on to say that they have not told people that they have to stay indoors at all times. If you are healthy enough, you can go for a walk outside while continuing to maintain that safe distance. He also reiterated that state parks are still open. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, Lisa, thank you. If you've lost your job, you're probably worried about how you're going to pay your bills. Next, how companies are working with their customers to help ease the stress. We'll be right back.
At Dream Mattress Studio at Value City Furniture.
As Congress works on a massive coronavirus stimulus package for the economy, some Republican senators are facing tough questions about massive sales of stocks just before the stock market crashed as the pandemic spread. North Carolina Senator Richard Burr is chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee. ProPublica is reporting that Burr and his wife sold up to $1.7 million in stock on February 13th. Senator Burr had been holding private briefings on COVID-19 for members of Congress since late January. And while he was publicly downplaying the virus, NPR reports that Burr told a private audience that COVID could have an impact on our country that was dramatic.
It is much more aggressive in its transmission than anything that we have seen in recent history. It's probably more akin to the 1918 pandemic.
Burr was not the only lawmaker to sell off stocks just before the steep decline due to the global pandemic. Republican Senator Kelly Loeffler of Georgia sold off hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stock in late January. Loeffler's husband is the CEO of Intercontinental Exchange, which owns the New York Stock Exchange.
Time now is 6:42. You might be among the Americans who just got laid off, or you don't know about the future of your job as the pandemic grows. That means you're also worried about the bills that are coming due soon. ABC's Kimberly Brooks tells us that many companies are trying to help their customers as much as possible.
While doctors are on the front lines working hard to save lives, major companies are working to save their anxious customers from the economic side effects of COVID-19, mounting bills and no clear way to pay for them. Thousands of workers already laid off.
This is a complete shutdown of business activity in many parts of the country, and it looks like it's going to go on for a month, 2, 3, or 4. The economy is struggling. We're in recession. It's going to be pretty severe.
But the burden is now being lifted on everything from mortgages to utilities and internet service. Giants like AT&T and Verizon are waiving late fees and promising no disconnections. And what about those credit cards? Companies like Apple and Barclays are now allowing customers to skip a monthly payment, while others like Citi and Capital One are extending deadlines, waiving fees, and in some cases, increasing credit lines. But you have to call. And while you're at it, check in on those car payments, because there could be relief there on a case-by-case basis.
Auto companies clearly know what's going on. They don't want you to default. They don't want to have to repossess these vehicles.
But no doubt the biggest bill of them all is rent. Bank of America is now telling homeowners you can ask to have your mortgage payments deferred. Even if you have a different lender, companies are sending a clear message. Your spirit may be temporarily broken, but you don't have to break your bank. Kimberly Brooks, ABC News.
One business owner is hoping to help other businesses survive in the economic uncertainty. We'll show you how his idea is helping bring in customers. Todd.
Thankfully, the rain is coming to an end. There are some flash flood warnings out there, but with the rain ending, it should not get any worse across the area as far as flooding or temperatures or flooding or rainfall goes. But temperatures, they are about to tumble. We're great right now in the 60s. Do not get used to it. We'll talk all about the temperature trend for you coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast.
Quality flooring, floors to your home. That too.
Welcome back. In troubled times, it's especially important to look for stories of hope. And here in central Indiana, we know we're going to get through this together as Hoosiers help Hoosiers. So I traveled down to Martinsville to see how one small business is working to make sure that other businesses stay open through the COVID-19 crisis. The printers are hot. And the signs are flying out the doors of DG Graphics in Martinsville. The local business that's known for vehicle wraps, signage, banners, decals is working on a new project.
And these restaurants, they're just mom and pop shops like me. And I wanted to do something to try to help out.
Owner Derek Gady saw a sign from a friend also in the business in Illinois. It read, "Dine-in closed, curbside pickup available. We also have gift cards available." So he asked his friend if he could share his file, and Derek started printing.
Then I had another local guy that owns a graphic shop ask me for that file, so I shared it with him. I shared it with a guy in South Carolina. He shared it with 2 more people in South Carolina. then Las Vegas.
Derek and the others are giving away the signs to any restaurant who needs one, with the hope that it'll make this new normal more easy to understand, helping the public know how they can support these small businesses in this time.
We all have families. We all have to pay our bills. These restaurants, they have employees, they have families. So, to give back to them, to make sure they can still do it. We still eat there. We still, we all want to kind of just work together.
Well, if you're a restaurant who wants one of those signs, there are 2 different designs. You can just contact DG Graphics on Facebook, Instagram, or just give them a call. They're going to figure out how to get you one. If you're a graphic design company and you want a copy of that file so you can print some for people in your area, you can reach out to them as well. We have all their contact information on our website, theindychannel.com/coronavirus. The time right now is 6:49. Let's check in right now with Todd Clausen in our Friday forecast.
Yeah, things will be improving as far as the rainfall goes this morning. That is the good news. It will not be improving, though, as far as the temperatures go. It's nice and mild right now, but don't get used to these temperatures that are out there right now. As far as the rain goes, just a few spotty showers now crossing the state line near the Richmond area, pushing off into Ohio, and we're basically done with the significant rainfall, and we need a break. Look at these rainfall totals in southern locations, especially this little thin strip from Bloomington through Nashville, Edinburgh, over to just north of Greensburg, 2 to 4 inches, and this is over just the last 12 hours. So that's a lot of rainfall in a short period of time. Get on either side of that band, and we have about 1 to 2 inches of rain, and that's the difference between the flash flood warning that's in place for the area you see shaded here in red and just the general flooding that is taking place over in Columbus. The difference, flash flooding occurring now. Waters are quickly changing and rising, and where the green is, and it's just a general flood warning, that means there's just some water sitting in fields, in your yard maybe, if you have some low-lying spots, but not as critical as the flash flood warnings. So the rain continues to push off to the east. We still have clouds that are in place. There's still a cold front that is off to our west. And as this cold front comes through during the morning hours, we're still going to have to maintain the chance of a few light scattered showers in this forecast. Nothing significant, nothing that's going to aggravate the flooding situation, but just prepare yourself if you think you're going to walk out and enjoy the mild temperatures, which you absolutely can. Just be mindful that there could be a few light spotty showers as this front comes through during the middle half of the morning, and then by this afternoon it'll be dry, but temperatures at that point will really start to fall off. But look at these numbers right now, temperature wise. It's 69 in Lafayette. You were at 70 last hour. 66 Martinsville, 66 in Indy, 67 is the current temperature in the Bloomington area. As we go forward throughout the day, here's the colder air. By noon, we're still in the 60s in many locations, although the 50s are starting to appear. By 3 p.m., 40s to the north, still holding on to the mild air to the south. By the time we get to 8 p.m., 30s and 40s. By the time you wake up tomorrow morning, many of you are going to be below freezing. We're only in the 20s here at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. The good news is once we get to your weekend, it gives us an opportunity to dry out. We'll have some sunshine. Starts off a little cloudy tomorrow, then decreasing clouds. Sunny and cool on Sunday at 46, but still dry. Monday is looking nice, partly cloudy at 52. Then rain showers return, but so do the mild temperatures by midweek. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at your commute right now in the downtown area. This is I-65 and I-70 at the South Split, where traffic is picking up this morning, traveling up to speed. You can see the camera bouncing around in the breeze a little bit, and we may have some areas of ponding on your road, so use caution as you're heading out the door this Friday.
How do you party on a Friday and do our necessary social distancing at the same time? Next, it's Good News Friday, and some people will be saying, "Howdy, neighbor," from a safe distance tonight.
Days from 4:30 to 7.
Despite everything that's happening in the world right now, there is still good news happening. And this story came about because of how the world has changed.
Yeah, so you may remember last year, people who live in Fountain Square area had a porch party encouraging people to get outside and meet their neighbors. So this evening, it's their first social isolation porch party. They want you to order takeout from a restaurant, Get out on your porch and then say hi to your neighbors while also staying on your porch a safe distance away.
Last night, the Madness at the Vogue fundraiser for the ALS Association of Indiana was supposed to take place. Of course, it did not. The theater was going to issue refunds, but organizers say that most people told them to keep their ticket or table fees, and in the end, more than $40,000 was still raised for the ALS Association, even without the fundraiser. The entertainment world is largely on hold right now due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and we brought you stories about how many entertainers are streaming from home to help give us something to watch while we're stuck at home.
That's right, and Jimmy Kimmel has gone a step further. Jimmy Kimmel Live might be on hiatus here on RTV6, but Jimmy is keeping his daily monologues alive with a very cute twist. Take a look.
Jimmy Kimmel Live. This is ridiculous.
Hi again, it's Jimmy checking in from home. My daughter made the opening for me, in case you're wondering if our graphics team is okay. They are.
Well, with the help from the family, Jimmy is doing what he calls mini logs. So some comedy to pass along tips for keeping the kids entertained, keeping the parents sane, and encouraging you to donate to charity. Oh, I love that. I love how kids and parents are having to spend a ton of time together this whole week. So they're getting creative.
And I have seen a lot of awesome crafts that are being done, which is kind of nice for a generation that's been raised on the iPad. So it's pretty cool.
People are getting pretty creative.
Yeah.
All right, Todd. People may not be able to get outside today.
Yeah, you know, you can get outside. Just going to have to bundle up later on this afternoon. Much colder than it is this morning, going from the 60s at 8 a.m. to the 40s by this afternoon.
Todd, thanks. We're back here in 25 minutes and all throughout Good Morning America.
Have a great Friday and a wonderful weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.